whatever.
Take a peek.
Just started.
Did you link it?
Someone should probably test it out.
I'm testing it right now. So check the stream, and this is if you're watching, which I doubt you are. We're testing right now. So
Please link.
someone please link.
Okay, it's loading.
Someone please link.
I almost did it again. I was watching an archive instead of the actual live stream.
Oh my god! Fucking archive of me playing Blinks.
Yeah, that's maybe the dumbest moment we've had in this whole history. Yeah, we're going. Okay, we can hear it.
You can hear everybody just fine.
I believe so. Yeah. Everyone, speak up.
Hello.
Hello.
Speak
Hello.
up.
Hello.
I am also
I
here.
think we're good. There was a lot of different echoes happening, so it was confusing. But
Hello.
Echoes or just people talking over each other?
I think you're just hearing like us and then the Twitch stream.
No, yeah, I mean
yeah, I was just hearing the call in the Twitch stream.
Yeah,
That was it.
But the Twitch stream itself doesn't have any echoes.
Yeah, as long as everybody can be heard perfectly.
Yeah, just
You
F and
mean like
muted,
a-
and we're good.
Oh, we gotta beat Bernie Sanders. He's on.
Ah, shit.
Oh, Bernie's
Is he?
streaming right now?
Yeah, Bernie Sanders.
Let's at Bernie and see if he'll want to re-rank.
Bernie, what game should we re-rank on the list? Can you see that I have random.org up?
I can see random.
All of
Yeah.
our games are in there. So
Yep.
I'm gonna when I hit the button, we will get our order. So
We're viewing this form securely.
Mm-hmm.
you are.
That's good to know.
Everybody's viewing it securely. All right. So whenever we're ready, we'll start. I'm gonna go grab a bottled water though, real quick.
Mm-hmm. Stay hydrated.
Gotta stay hydrated. Super important.
So, on this Ranker series, what a season it has been.
Yeah. Tell us more.
It's weird. So when there was just 50, there was like a lot, right? That I was like, I want to do this. But now that we're like 151, right? I guess when we're doing this 149 or whatever. But are we? Is the missing and Halo 2 eligible?
Yeah.
Okay, because those episodes haven't gone live yet, so I didn't know if we were gonna mess with the timeline or not. But now it's like there's so many. It's almost hard. It's harder to like.
Yeah,
remember
I have
specific
nowhere.
ones.
I don't know where to start. I don't know which game to pick.
Right.
Come on, guys. It's obvious.
Good thing I'm not first.
So many good choices. No, go with your gut.
I mean, do you want to fucking go through that whole thing?
Okay, don't go with your gut. That's not what I
Bad
meant.
advice.
I meant go with a fucking
I was like, that is a loaded sentence to illustrate.
Go with your brain.
Brandon, you want to make the random process more pretty?
What?
What do you mean? How?
Here.
Oh, does Moose have a secret?
Here's a magic wheel.
Ooh, let's spin the wheel.
Oh, all right.
jeez.
Oh, I got it on the wrong window here, but hold on.
Oh, this is just listing. Okay, it's all the different foods. Okay, at first I just saw Korean, Vietnamese. I was like, is this like a? What's happening
All
here?
right,
But
hold
no.
What is this?
I gotta open it up in the other tab.
Modify wheel.
What is that wheel for?
It's I guess it's for what you want to eat tonight.
Or modify
What
the
are you out
wheel.
for?
I'm gonna modify the wheel. All
Because
right,
there's like
here we
there's
go.
pizza.
I hope it's for that.
in advanced options, the first option is remove choice after it's landed on. Just make sure you click
Oh,
that.
that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, this from now on. This is much fun.
Much fun.
This is
Oh,
Much
it even has
fun.
audio.
this is
How about
much
this?
fun. Who
We
else?
should
we-
probably post this in
well,
our chat.
Who else?
Actually,
Leslie. All right. Advanced options. Remove choice after it's landed on. Color theme. Ooh, baby. Let's do colorful.
Let's do
Damn
it.
red.
It's a good thing that people are watching this right now.
Yeah, they get to they get to see the process. You know,
Yeah,
they
behind
get
the
to see
scenes
the-
action.
It's provocative. It gets
We're just
people
human
going.
beings. We're not
Yeah.
perfect.
Well, look, there's just me.
I
Just Will. Let's change this thing a little bit here.
For a second, it looked like the Wii 3.
We're getting there. There we go.
Oh, something.
Wait, is it
I have
slow
the
for
white
me? I
square
feel like you
because I'm
guys
the
are
whitest guy in this
ahead
game.
of me.
There
My
we go.
Wasp heritage.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Nice and
Wait,
We're
why
gonna
is
spin
Muzzy
every
red?
time.
huh?
Oh, do
Why
we
is
spin every
Muzzy red?
time?
Yeah.
We're gonna spin
And
it
once
every-
that person gets picked, they're off. They're
We're
out.
gonna spin it every time, and it's I set it up to take that person's name off every time we spin it. So.
Oh, okay.
Why is Muzzy red? I don't understand this. What sort of horrifying...
Oh my
Because
God,
that's the
I
way
hit
it went.
random.
Jesus Christ.
All right. I will write down
The
the
big
list.
baby.
No, no, I just want red.
Well, too fucking bad.
Wait, am I blue? I fucking nailed it.
I don't know where I am. I don't see. Oh,
No,
wait, I think I'm
you're-
pink.
You're
You're purple.
Purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the
I see
Wii
the
is
eye.
white.
I see-
Will is white, Brandon's black, just as it is in real life.
Just as God intended.
My Wasp heritage.
You know, it
Continues
kind
to
of even
manifest.
looks like the Wii font.
That's what I said earlier.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Imagine that I'm two Japanese men bowing at your door.
Okay,
Sure.
Ads.
I'm
You
ready.
would like to play.
All right, we ready?
Spin
Yes,
two
sir.
We should
win.
probably give
Yeah.
like a little bit of an
Yeah,
intro spiel, right?
Yeah. Will,
That's
you're
Will's
the host.
job.
Okay, all right.
Introduction here.
Hang on, so we're not recording this on Audacity? No?
We're not
No,
recording
no,
on
no, no.
Audacity.
We
No,
don't
Do
need
you
to.
want to end the
It's all on
stream and then
Twitch,
restart
yeah.
it so
We're
we can just
doing a
do
lot.
this VOD without having to edit?
No, I mean,
Alright,
it's
that's
fine.
fine.
It's
Okay.
part of the fun.
All right.
So
Hello,
now-
everyone. Welcome, of course, to this special time of the year where you gather everyone together, you sit around the fireplace, and you say, we fucked up big time, okay? 151 games, none of them are placed rightly. We start the journey to fix this on Rankerseries. We thought we were going to theme it. We're not. We're playing it straight, okay? We don't have time to mess around because on every week of the Jump Up Supercast, we add a new game to the list. On the Game Club, we add the games that we play. However, sometimes things happen, things change. We say, how did this end up here? This is where we rectify those mistakes, all right? So everyone gets one opportunity to bring a game they would like to move on this illustrious list of now 151 video games. Whether or not it moves, there's no guarantee. Will it move up? Will it move down? No guarantee. You got to stick your neck out, risk it for the biscuit, and just go for it. All right? So without further ado, before we start, we have to establish an order. We have an illustrious wheel. Brandon will spin to win,
Hello.
and that will be the order
I'm Brandon,
that we go
by the
in.
way.
Hello, Brandon.
He's the Vanna
Hello,
White of this.
Yeah.
Vanna White. I guess we should say the other people, but you can just say your names whenever you make it on the order. How about that?
I think we should spin it as we get to the person. You know, like first game and then we spin, and then after that. So we
Yeah,
don't even
sure.
know who-
Okay. All right.
Oh, what,
Okay.
You,
All right.
you introduce yourself as
So no. So then let's just say Moose is here.
Hi.
Noah's here.
No, I'm not. Why are you lying?
Saf is here.
I mean, I believe I exist. As to whether or not I'm here, I don't know.
Ills is here.
Yes, your fucking overlord is here, bitch.
And Brandon.
Hey,
Normally you go first in the regular podcast. I'll put you last this time.
it's okay. Usually the champion comes out last, so it makes
It's 'cause
sense.
he's black.
Wow. This is brand supremacy. Is on the line here.
It's true.
The only time of the year. All right.
Alright,
So
so-
Brandon, go ahead. Why don't we spin?
You're gonna spin it. Let's go. Click to spin. We're clicking it.
Click to spin.
Ah!
Clicking it.
Well,
Well, I didn't
What?
plan for this.
Also,
Folks.
I couldn't help but think of I hate everything as I spun that wheel because that's the same thing that he does when he picks his next. He watches all the bottom worst movies of all time or whatever. Search for the worst, and he uses that exact
Right.
same website.
Mm-hmm.
oh, the colors changed. Huh.
I'm still
All right.
blue.
Oh yeah, they did.
So, this game, I wasn't even around for when it was originally ranked. It was
Whoa.
a dead tie for a while because we didn't have ills yet either. But with time, it's got pushed down over and over again. I think unfairly so. So I think it's time for justice for Fire Emblem Awakening.
All right.
Ooh.
Guns blazing.
Number
Which is
55.
Currently 55. Spoilers for the game club, by the way, right below it. But
You'll
but
be
this
alright,
is a
guys.
game that I think is remarkable, right? Like it is among the best Fire Emblems, right? I don't know if it's the best. I think you can make an argument, but I don't know if I would
Not
say
the
it.
best, but
It's
yeah.
not the best.
But it's up there, I would say, right?
Yeah,
Top
definitely
3
up
probably.
there.
Top 3.
Easily.
Yeah.
Which is better than a lot of best games in most series. So I think in order to sort of rectify this, I want to at least get it above Melee. That's sort of where I'm looking at, and then where however everything else,
Melee? Where's
which
Melee?
is 35.
Number 35.
That's a big jump.
That's a big
By
jump.
the way, just as a heads up, do you know what my choice is gonna be?
Fire Emblem Awakening.
No.
Well,
Well, is it the partner? Is it it's a live soulmate?
I was gonna drop it below Fire Emblem.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
What?
What?
You were gonna drop
I
what
was-
below Fire?
I was gonna put Valkyria Chronicles below Fire Emblem Awakening.
But both of them, I would say, are too low is the problem
Well,
because
yeah,
of what's
well,
happened on the list. I think that it is
doesn't
better
really
than.
rank it, but
I think that the things this game does, right? I think it has a perfect balance of. I think Fate sort of lost a little bit of the way, right? Of this of having a strong narrative characters, right? Lucina, Crom, even Robin. I think there's a strong core narrative, but having these support conversations, having this child system, right? All of these things help provide a real rounding out of this genre, right? That I think helped a lot of people sort of be the first one that they played of Fire Emblem. And I think that, like, the music, I really love the presentation of. I really love, sort of just a lot of the side characters, I think, are all very charming, and they are doled out in a good way. And they all sort of get a little bit of time to shine. And so I think that it is worth being above, Psychonauts and Katamari and Okami and Tomb Raider.
I agree. Also, the cutscenes are fucking gorgeous in this game. Like, surprisingly gorgeous. Yeah, there's a lot of characters to love in this game. They do the child system really well. Like, it's surprising, like, when you first get them, and it's like because of the whole time travel part. That's a core part of the narrative, unlike fucking Fates.
Yeah, we're just randomly
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, just the whole like the fact that Lucina, her whole story is it's really powerful.
Yeah.
And
and gameplay wise, I think this is the first and this sounds dismissive, but I mean it in the best possible way. It is like the best baby's first Fire Emblem. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, yeah.
It is it is such a fantastic entry point into the series that really makes it easy to fall in love with the whole franchise. Really, right?
Yeah.
this is how you fell in love with it.
This is exactly how I fell in love with the franchise. This is the first game I played, and it has this perfect balance of it's a great strategy game, right? I want to get that out of the way before staff says anything negative about it.
Wait, why me?
Because
Yeah.
you've been the culprit in previous.
Only in conjunction with.
Okay, but
Okay,
it is a
okay.
great strategy game, right? Like, it is a fantastic strategy game, but it introduces a whole bunch of options that makes people that makes it very easy to get into, and it also helps you slowly graduate into harder options, right? Like, introducing casual mode, I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Like I personally didn't like it, but I don't know. It makes it a lot more accessible to.
Well, here's the thing. Just for me personally, like, the first time I played it in casual because the permadeath was a big mind block for me, right?
Well,
But
yeah, but
after
that's
the
part of what made Fire Emblem
no,
series
no.
what it's known for. Because
But
it definitely adds a more level of risk and
Stakes, yeah.
makes you much higher stakes because you want to make sure it adds to the love you have for the characters because you don't want to lose them. So
Yeah.
it makes
No,
you
But the
makes
positive is that
experience more
that's still
intense.
there, right? And
I
Moose eventually
100%
graduated to
agree.
doing
No,
the permadeath.
my point is that the point I'm trying to make is I played it for I got into the series because it's casual mode, right? But literally after that first playthrough, I've never played casual mode since, right? Because and it made me appreciate the even the permadeath, right? Like, just having that casual mode made it easy to get into for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Let me dip my toes in, and I thought it was brilliant for that.
Yeah.
But at the
And
same
even
time, it is
the
very
difficulty of
replayable.
the game itself is this great like balance of like it's definitely not too hard unless you're picking hard or lunatic, of course, right? It still has that challenge if you pick the harder difficulties, but I think it has a really good difficulty curve overall too. So it really is just the perfect like first entry for someone to play Fire Emblem in.
Yeah, it's
I-
always the
I
one I
wouldn't-
think of when I
yeah.
try to introduce somebody to Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't agree much on the difficulty part because once you got Donald, he's a fucking beast. He just wrecks everything on his own. But yeah.
I mean,
Well, you
there-
have
there
to
were-
build them up. but
yeah, you build them
Yeah.
up.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, there are quite a few broken characters that actually get broken in the first place.
Oh yeah, I mean the pairing system is kind of like super broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I think but it's one of those things I think that's interesting because the first time I played through it, I didn't have basically any info from like the internet, right? Like I didn't look up any of this stuff about who's great, who's bad. But then the second time I went through, I mean, I looked like a crazy person with like a cork board with a bunch of pictures of anime characters drawing red lines of who they're all gonna have sex with, right? Like, look like a crazy person. But I think that it's cool that like when I went back, I would have multiple times where I'd be like, I want to see what happens if I have this unit with these things with this skill, right? And I think that that's the stuff that obviously, sometimes I think it's fun, honestly, in an RPG when if you have a full understanding of the system that you can break it. I think that that's just it's sort of like it's getting an Ultima weapon of sorts, right? But it's your own knowledge in a certain way, right? And so like I get obviously that it is in a lot of ways like you can have characters that can just one shot half the game. But I think that in a certain way, like we're all coming from a perspective of having super intimate knowledge of all the gameplay systems. So like that sort of was going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I get it, but I think it's almost fun in a certain way to like go
No,
three
yeah.
playthroughs in and having that stuff.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Where do you
Where are we
want it?
putting it?
At
You
least
want
above Melee?
At least above Melee.
That was where I was starting with, and I was going to get a vibe for everyone else.
Which I
Um,
definitely agree.
I think I would put it above Wii Sports.
Sure. Yeah.
I was
would
looking
put
at
it
like
Where is
below
Wii Sports?
33.
33. I would put it right below Wii Sports actually, but above Mania.
I don't know. I don't feel comfortable putting it above Mania. Like, actually, I'd be more comfortable putting it above Borderlands. 39.
Damn, son. Saf?
That's kind of hard.
Like, yeah, because the main reason is
huge-
because of the trio of Psychonauts, Katamari, and Hotline Miami. Those
Yeah,
are very
those-
like unique games that like they're just really cool and really good, and I have I don't know. It's just
Yeah, I really
like, I
like
wouldn't put it
Psychonauts,
above
but-
Sonic Mania for sure because I feel like Sonic Mania did a really like being loved and like kind of half built by fans.
Yeah.
Like really like
I
coming from like a long line of Sonic, and they finally made it right. They finally made like such a great game that everybody loves.
I mean, sure, but I wouldn't count any of that.
I mean, I feel as though like Sonic Mania has some similarity to Fire Emblem. Like these are like revitalizations of two established franchises.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did everything they could to like kind of bring it.
Okay, this is not. I don't want to be like dismissive to Sonic Mania, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I do think there's something to like Fire Emblem Awakening pulling the series forward, right? Versus Sonic Mania kind of having to, I mean, it is a Genesis game in a lot of ways,
You
But
mean
that's not,
emulate the past?
Yeah, like it is very much like here's what was great about Sonic, which is great, right? And that's why, and it's executed so well that's why I like it so much, right? But Fire Emblem is pushing that franchise forward, and I think that to me that's what makes the difference,
Well, I mean, they basically corrected with Sonic Mania, like the path it was going to. Otherwise, it was going to end up.
Well, I mean, then we
Radiant
got
Shot.
Genesis
I mean-
a month later is the problem,
Yeah.
and we're not getting Mania 2. Like that stuff doesn't affect the game, obviously, but like it's this is gonna sound like weird considering what the game is, right? But I do wish that Sonic Forces I wish that they got to make just fully new zones a lot of the times, right? Like I love the recontextualizing of the old zones, but I think that there is there was times where I was playing through the first act, especially of these zones that I played before in older Sonic games, and I was like, man, I can feel your creativity here kind of being held back by the fact that half of these have to be sort of remakes, essentially. Like I would have loved that game even more if it was just all new, to be honest.
I do agree with that. I do wish Sonic Mania had 100% new zones. I just felt like the old ones were just like an unnecessary retread. Like just like a nostalgia grab kind of retread. That
Like
just
the Act 2s of those old zones were still like, I mean, they managed a way to surprise me still.
Yeah,
right?
they'll put like new mechanics in there. Yeah.
But like when you think of like the proportion of new stuff to old stuff in Mania, though, it does lean more towards old, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of the fun of Sonic games is like, I mean, like yeah, it was a fun nostalgia romp in a way, and great level design, right? But like, I do think Mania shined best in those new zones, you know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a shame that we got so little of that, you know. What was it, like 4 of the 12 zones or something, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is
I mean, is it really that much of a negative though? Because it's still a great game overall, and it still does what it does well. Yeah, like like what it does well, it does really well.
Fire Emblem Awakening, if we're gonna make the direct comparison, is all new. You know, it is completely new.
I mean,
and still
most games.
executes on it well. You know, I think Mania, like, you know, it is kind of a crutch to have to rely on, you know, Green Hill and Chemical Plant. You know.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, I think the things are just that, like, and this is gonna sound weird, right? But Sonic Mania came out in 2017. Fire Emblem Awakening came out in 2011 or whatever. Right? I forget which one it was. But 13. But like, I think that for me, I still feel the resounding effects of like thinking about Awakening. I think about it more often, even 6 years later, versus Sonic Mania, where I was like, man, I'm so happy this is back. Like, that emotion is still there, but a lot of the specifics sort of wash over me. Like, I sort of just don't recall as much. And I think that to me is just a statement of the way that it impacted me, which is why we put it above Sonic Mania.
I definitely don't recall as much as Sonic Mania, and I find that I agree with what Muzzy said, that it doesn't feel like they did enough new for it to really be differentiated in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. I mean,
well, we should double check.
Sonic Mania.
We should double check where everyone stands before we make it.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's go through. Yeah, I'm 4 above Sonic Mania.
I'm 4 above Wii Sports.
Well,
I think I'm 4 below. I think I'm 4 above Mania.
But below Sports.
Below Sports, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so am I. Okay, Saf?
I'll go with you. Like, I would disagree. Like, I prefer Mania, but yeah, fine.
I mean, you can cast your vote however you want. You don't have to.
Cast your vote first however you want, and then we can. Brandon?
Sorry.
I would put it above Wii Sports.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Solid choice.
And Noah.
No, like I said, I would put it below Mania, but yeah.
Okay, now we're 2-2-2. How about that, folks?
This is the worst kind of tie.
Well, I was about to say, like, I can switch either way. Like, I can see the points for like above Mania. I personally, I wouldn't put it below, but I can understand why it would be ranked high, and I can't disagree with those points. Those points are reasonable, so I'm willing to concede and put it above.
Above Mania, but are you willing to put it above Wii Sports then?
Nope.
No.
Okay. All right, so I think that's where we stop.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I'm glad it got moved.
There
we
go.
It's not a bad choice, no.
So from
don't pick me next, so I don't have a backup.
From 54 to 34. How about that?
Well,
even
you
20.
can still pick Valkyria, Sappy.
Yeah. If you want to, you don't have to. But
I got a game in mind too, so.
So I'm out of the way. I'm free at last. So next up, who do we have?
Spin the wheel.
Wait, did you update?
Do we update the list?
Sure, I'll update it.
Yeah, update it.
All right. Tell me when it's updated. You want me to spin the wheel?
Why don't you just cut and paste?
Was it Moose?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why don't you just cut and paste it?
That's
That's
Yeah,
a
it
good
was
too
point.
late.
Next time I'll remember.
So 55 to 36.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
God.
Well, what'd you do here?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
You're making a mess.
Uh-oh.
We did it. We're fine. We fixed it.
Oh my God. Oh, it's so ugly. Please stop.
I'm trying. Oh, God. All right, Ills, fix it. Ill should be the one that manages the list.
I think Ill should be the only one to touch the list.
Yes, we did it. There we go. Woohoo.
Okay.
All right. No, that's done. Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Here it comes.
That's the wrong color.
Noah.
No.
Yay. Okay. So, let's see. I'll go with that one. All right. So I want to move Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow on the list.
God,
Okay.
I already know what direction you're moving.
Number 20. It's number 25 on the list right
I'm
now.
already scared.
What? Every time with you people,
I'm scared.
anything I do is just a negative.
You're goddamn right.
Everything I do.
I'm nervous.
All right. So that's 25 on the list.
Mm-hmm. I want to move it down to actually the same area where Fire Emblem was moved. So like below Wii Sports.
Boo. Boo.
So,
Interesting.
all right. Okay. All right. No, okay.
Because I feel like these games, as great as they are, they have too much of a nostalgia value to what it actually is. So yeah, like that part of like when we ranked it, obviously the list was smaller, so it made more sense. But now the way it's grown, I feel like it should be a little bit lower. Because overall, this game is like as great as it is. Every game that's come after it is like way miles better. So like if we ever have we add another game, we have to go above this. So.
Did we explain why it's red, blue, and yellow and not fire red, leaf green?
Because they're not the same game, and let me tell you, I believe that Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow are better. But that is no, we're not talking about it versus Fire and Leaf Green.
I mean, as an overall package, no, it's
not.
No,
I'm saying like why we picked that over the other one. Like why didn't we consider it?
Because Yellow didn't have a remake.
They're different games.
Let's go
Pikachu.
Yeah, it is actually. It's actually different games. So,
yeah.
Very different.
I just want to say my spiel because I played Pokemon Red and Blue for the first time in the year 2016 on the Nintendo 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
And I immediately fell in love with this game. It immediately shot up to be one of my favorite Pokemon games. And I do think, like, on a base level, yes, there's a lot of things that later Pokemon games did that expanded upon Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Everything.
And made it better. Like the box system, they added mechanics, all this. I do think, though, Red and Blue has a unique place in the series in that the direction of the game is actually very different from the games that come after. Pokemon Red and Blue emphasizes this I don't know how to put it exactly, but there's this feeling of like a solo adventure in Red and Blue, of like you kind of against the world in a way, you know? There's this tone to it that later Pokemon games, purposely so, they're not trying to hit this, but Red and Blue hits this and the rest of the series doesn't. They're going for something unique here. You know, the adventure you feel going through Kanto is almost a little oppressive compared to other Pokemon games, you know, like, because, you know,
Could you elaborate a little bit on that, because I'm completely lost what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean, if is it alright if I jump in, Moose?
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, because I think there is a genuine. I know it gets sort of brought up all the time, but I think there's a difference. I think in sort of like the way that characters interact with you and sort of the way the world's presented to you, where you're sort of like you're far less directed, and that can have positives and negatives, right? Because sometimes you'll just be like, where am I supposed to go, right? What's happening here? Mm-hmm. But there is sort of these moments where like in X and Y and in Sun and Moon and even Sword and Shield, you have your buds along the way, and they're constantly sort of going on this thing with you, right?
Yeah.
And so sort of in Red and Blue, they sort of plop you in here. The only like sort of like continual person throughout the game is Blue, who's kind of a scumbag to you the whole time, right? And like Professor Oak, I guess. But like, because Kanto is sort of has this more freeform design to it, and sort of the way its roots are set up too, I could sort of see, especially feeling like you get lost in it more, which makes it feel more like it's bigger than the sum of its parts, sort of, right? Like if you look at just the space of Kanto, it's not that big, but they do a good job of making it feel bigger than it actually is, which I think benefits the whole game.
I also think they don't like hold your hand as much in this game,
Yeah.
and they kind of like plop you into the adventure a lot faster, from
Yeah.
what I remember.
Yeah, for sure. Which is, I mean, and again, that's not necessarily a knock against other Pokemon games, but it's why Red and Blue stand unique
It's
among.
Well, I would
derivative.
consider it a knock.
It's
Yeah.
derivative of game design in now as compared to game design then, but also as of the hardware limitations of the Game Boy.
Sure, but sometimes
Sure,
you
but like,
can get
but
benefits
like,
from that, right?
Yeah, sometimes
But-
less is more.
yeah, I mean, you take what you were presented, without thinking of why or what or how, right? But like,
Mhm.
the end result in Pokemon Red and Blue is a game that is just a lot, like, a lot more, there's a lot more freedom to it. There's a lot
It's basically
more,
more about catching Pokemon than it is about like this. Is what you're trying to say, right?
Well,
like it's about.
well, not even
going
catching Pokemon. I mean, going through the story itself, like, they never tell you where
They
to
don't-
go.
I mean, it's not even an. It's hard to say. Like, there's no like overall big plot. Like,
No,
it's,
there isn't. It's just you go through the
Like,
adventure to become the champion.
you go
No,
to a
but
city,
there's
you find out
there's-
where. Sorry,
Well,
go on.
I always thought like the plot of like games like Sun and Moon, which is the last Pokemon game I played, was kind of like in the way. Like I didn't like it. I just want
there's
to
a group
play.
of people
I
that
just
really
want to
think
catch
it's fun.
Pokemon and
Yeah.
fight. That's what I want to do when I play Pokemon. I don't want to learn
Mhm.
about another dimension with these super beings or whatever the fuck.
No, that was just added to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I mean, so I mean,
but
I
like,
guess,
but that is to say, and
But in terms of an overall package, though,
No, yeah, I mean, obviously I don't know that much about Pokemon, so I'm just giving you my
sure.
impression.
I mean, but again, as an overall, and this is someone I've been playing Pokemon, since Gen 2, right? And so I played
all
Gen through all the way through 6, right? And then I played Gen 1 for the first time, and I still found it to hold up in a particular way that, I mean, again, like instantly shot it up to be one of my personal favorites.
I mean, it definitely still holds up. Every game in the series, to me, in my opinion, still holds up.
no,
And-
yeah, it still holds up.
And especially
but-
because the fact that we're not comparing it to other Pokemon games right now, right? I do think Pokemon, even if you claim this is its lowest, which I disagree again, but even if you claim this is Pokemon at its lowest, I think Pokemon at its lowest is still better than most of the games on this list, including I find Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
That's where I disagree. I think the other games that are directly below are way better.
I think Earthbound is too low.
yeah, Earthbound is
Well, Earthbound is too low, yeah.
Diddy
I
Kong
agree.
Country 2, Earthbound,
But maybe
Fire
those
Path
should
of
all be
Radiance,
re-ranked as well,
Overwatch.
so. I mean, but I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be below. The Overwatch. I don't think it should be below Path of Radiance. I don't think it should be below Superstar Saga. Quite frankly.
Well, I mean,
definitely not Brawl.
Noah's the one that should get first shot at where he wants to put it.
I mean, the way I see it, like in terms of Pokemon, before Loa gets actually, I guess thing, it's like I understand like that idea of like, well, it's back to a simpler time. It's more like it's more easier to get into. It's just more straightforward. It's it's not trying to be bigger than what it actually is. It's just you catching Pokemon, you going on adventures, shit like that. I can totally get it. But a lot of the evolution of Pokemon, like a lot of the fun came from like adding new types or adding new ways to fight.
All
or
the
like
different
all the-
mechanics that they added, the typing,
Yeah.
the abilities, the double
Yeah.
battles, like
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
became like 10 times better than what it originally is.
There are Pokemon games that I would like to go back to more than I would like to go back to in terms of like Red and Blue. And that's not to say it's a bad game, because I could totally appreciate that game as being what it is. Like as a kid, I fucking played it to my heart's content. Like I know this shit. Like when Muzzy was stuck in Pokemon, he didn't use the internet. I was his fucking guide.
Sure.
So like I totally understand like how easy it is to just get into, just play over and over again. But I feel as though like a lot of the fun for Pokemon is like what
But again,
later
we're not
games brought out.
comparing it to other Pokemon games.
How many
though, right
times
now?
how many times has Muzzy come to you for advice? You said the same thing about Final Fantasy. Jesus Christ.
Saf just remembers a lot of the games
it's
in
a
the 90s
sage. He
games
guides him. His
insanely
Yoda
well.
to his Luke Skywalker.
No, it's like, I mean, I get that you're not comparing it, but I'm saying that it's like nowadays I would like I totally get it, but it's still like a lot missing to it. It's,
yeah, there's
even though it's
like the
a
only
game-
reason I would go back to play Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow is because of what I want to relive like the nostalgia. Like if I had to, like I would never go back to actually play it for what it is. You know what I mean?
I think it's a little unfair to rank something compared to something that's not on the list.
But
Well, no,
You have
yeah,
to put
but
the other
yeah,
Pokemon
but
on
like
the list.
it's like
compared
if I
to like
want-
the other games that are like below it, I would go back and play.
Yeah,
them
okay.
for
That's
what they
I mean
are.
that's fair. I think that's the comparison you should
Yeah.
make.
yeah.
I mean, so
I mean, again,
I
no,
just
but,
just
I
feel like
played
as
it
an
for-
overall package, like those games, just like either whether they are sequels or not, like they just had it was an overall better designed game. Like
So, I mean-
especially if you consider all like the glitches and stuff that Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow had.
just so we can sort of direct it towards the games that we're going to compare it to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to put it right now, Noah?
I feel like below Wii Sports or Donkey Kong Country 2, I'd be more comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. So let's just get sort of, I guess, a lay of the land of where everyone else is at.
I would
too,
like,
so we
you
can
know,
sort of-
Brandon hasn't spoken at all in this conversation, so I want him to speak up first.
Just want to build up your fucking site.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I had no problem with where it was, so that's why I'm having a hard time trying to move it. You know, thought it was fine. Yeah, I don't know. If I'm thinking about moving it down, I feel like I don't know, man.
I would say at least below Earthbound, like somewhere in between,
Yeah.
Superstar Saga and Donkey Kong, like above Donkey Kong and below Superstar Saga, somewhere around that. I would be happy with, like anywhere between that. I'll be.
I mean, Donkey Kong's the better game, but Donkey Kong's better than like the 31 games above it anyway. So
Okay, goddamn. Why do you always have to say this?
This is
shit?
where I'm sort of at with it. Is that like, so we oftentimes say we don't want to just move a game, put a game just because there's one game among 20, right? That we have an issue with. But I do have an issue. I would put it below both Earthbound, Donkey Kong Country, and maybe Wii Sports. That's a coalition of 3. That's way harder to just discount, right? But I would probably put it above everything above those, right? So now we're at an impasse.
Yeah, that whole block needs to be switched, you know, like.
All right, so let's start switching it.
We got 4 more choices. There's 4 games to move. I think we got it.
Because I personally enjoy like Mario Luigi more than
Same. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy all those games more than but
yeah. Because Mario Luigi is just basic art. Sorry.
So go ahead. No, sorry.
And if you wanna go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Yeah, Mario Luigi is just it's also an RPG, but it does different things in terms of like gameplay mechanics. The story is more interesting, and the world is much more inviting and much more fun to like see than Pokemon Red and Blue. I
mean, I was more enthused exploring Kanto than I ever was in the Bean Kingdom.
Mario and Luigi you have 2 people in your party. Mario and Luigi. Pokemon, you have 151 cards.
Yeah, okay, but Mario and Luigi are super charming in that game. It's funny as fuck.
I was making a joke.
But like I think there is something to say. Like it is, all things considered, it's it is a pretty basic RPG, right? If we're talking about basic, I think Mario and Luigi is a fairly basic RPG. It's just it's carried by its charm and its fun battle system.
I wouldn't say it's a basic RPG.
It has charm and fun battles.
It has a lot more charm and fun battles into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my thought, I guess, is, and this is just my measurement, is I think that Mario and Luigi and Pokemon and Wii Sports. I know, what a weird
Yeah.
three disparate ones.
Actually, yeah, I was gonna make an argument for Wii Sports there for a second, but go on.
It's sort of like, I would say Wii Sports and Mario and Pokemon are more ambitious, right? Like,
Mhm.
you know, it's weird to think about the concept of motion controls being ambitious, but it was a completely unproven concept, you know?
Oh yeah, it was like it was a whole new thing. It was the
Yeah.
revolution kind of the revolutionary kind of change, and it was
Yeah.
and it's like it's basic as much as Pokemon was like a basic RPG and everything. That like really basic sports games, and it was like super fun to play, and like utilize the motion controls like extremely well.
And I don't think we can discard the parts of the game that are held together by duct tape in Pokemon's case, right? Like there is, you know, like there is just weird things where you can be frozen forever, where you can, you know, like there's just parts of the game where you can just get screwed.
Oh no,
I'm
it's a
very confused.
glitchy mess.
Wait,
Where-
where do you
and,
want
and,
the
and I
game?
don't discount it that much, right? Like
No.
weighing it down, but I think when comparing it to Wii Sports, which I think is it succeeds in its ambitions in a more successful way, right? And part of it is by not overextending itself, and I think that sometimes there's value to that in the game, right? Obviously, it's apples to oranges a little bit because one's a 40-hour RPG and one's a multiplayer primarily game.
I'm so confused. Where do you want this game, Will?
Well, that's why I'm working through my own thoughts here out loud. Basically, that's that. I don't have one. Is this sort of the thing? And Superstar Saga.
Below Wii Sports. It's a good
And
spot.
Superstar Saga, I think you're discrediting how well of an execution of the concepts it has, right? There's a lot of carryover from some ideas that were in Mario RPG, right? But like, I mean, sorry to the Mario RPG fans, I think that they like meld the platforming elements of Mario a lot better in Mario and Luigi than they do in that game. So we're bringing in the Mario aspects,
Yeah, that's probably
sort of being on the overworld. So I think that there's stuff that is like neat to the ambition, even though it is obviously of a smaller scale than the other two games.
All right, so where do you want the
Where's
game?
everyone at? It's like...
Okay, I would settle. I don't really have a strong opinion, but I think it should go below Path of Radiance. But you know, if you want it lower than that, if we have enough people to go lower than that, then I'd be fine with that.
All right.
I'm steadfast that it should stay where it is. It belongs where it is.
This is
As long as it's within the range that I'm happy with,
I'm
to move
I'm
in
at like
that range.
Well,
right now. I'm at like below Mario.
It should
the
definitely
Superstar
be
Saga.
like. Wait, where are you?
I'm at below Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. That's where I'm at right now. in for me.
You know what, Brandon? I'll settle. You know, below
honestly,
Mario.
I would be fine with that if Wii Sports gets moved up eventually. You know, like that's sort of where my thing is. Like,
You already
Below
had your
Earthbound.
thing.
Still, you still have Earthbound and Left 4 Dead 2.
I
and
know,
Donkey
and
Kong
that's
No,
Country.
the
I mean,
that is
I
And
would
Path
put-
of Radiance.
I would put Earthbound Donkey Kong Country above. I don't feel any type of way about Wii Sports, but I would put Donkey Kong Country 2 and Earthbound above Pokemon. But
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I don't
lucky
want to
for
put
you,
Pokemon
I'm-
below Overwatch or Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. No disrespect to that game, but I don't think it's as good. Or
Lucky for
Doesn't
you, I'm
have-
re-ranking one of those games, and you could re-rank the other one.
doesn't
Like,
have the
rank
cultural
way.
impact.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll put it below Earthbound.
this is a lot of colluding.
Wait, so yeah, I mean,
I
we
just
we got,
completely
like,
ignored what Muzzy said. 'Cause I'm not having any part of any collusion.
I'm joking.
No,
I was
it's not
joking. I was
collusion. I'm
joking.
It's
telling
collusion.
you,
You got the
I'm
tape.
telling you right now.
we got the
It wasn't
transcripts.
collusion
It's that
Fast
trio of
told
games.
you.
It's the Earthbound, Donkey Kong Country 2, and the Wii Sports. I feel like it should just go below. Like, it's that area at least.
Well,
But I want it like below Wii Sports.
all right, so we got a lot of different answers there.
I mean, look, all right, I'm just gonna go with my heart then. I want it above Metal Gear Solid. Okay, I just want to throw that into the void.
Shoot for the moon, why don't you?
That
Oh,
is a good
You're not
throwaway
gonna get
vote.
anybody on that shit, Muzzy. I'm sorry.
Let's do it, Moose. I'm with you. Let's put it.
Fuck off.
No, I would. The thing is,
I really
I
can't.
think I convinced myself below Superstar Saga, but not lower than that. Is I think what I've ended up at.
That's
To be
where
honest,
I'm at. That's really where I'm at.
I'll join you guys there. Below
I know that.
Superstar
I know
He's
that's
just
like that's
trying to
almost more
fucking
insulting than just
limit
saying
the
where it is.
damage.
Noah. I know. I'm sorry, but man. Oh god.
So
Damn it. Wait, Saf, where are you at?
So I was at Earthbound because I realized how much I really like Earthbound over Pokemon Red and Blue.
But
So
the
you're
Earthbound thing might be fixed. Who knows? Maybe.
You're
Yeah,
below.
maybe.
So you're below.
Yeah.
So Ilsa's below Path of Radiance. Noah's below Wii Sports. I'm Earthbound, and 3 are below Superstar Saga. And sure, I'll just because like again, it'll be in the range that I'm satisfied with, so I'll just agree with the majority.
You sure?
Damn.
I mean,
I mean, if we
it's
look at it
vanilla
this way,
jam.
right?
Don't settle. This is what we're doing the re-ranks for.
If we look at it this way, right?
right,
So we are close to another re-rank, right?
right.
January. All right.
Are you negotiating with me?
If those 3 games get moved above Pokemon, it's functionally down 5 spots.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
fine
think
with
we
it.
all feel the same way about that. That all those other games should go up.
No, you guys don't. Me and Brendan, the only ones that think Donkey Kong Country go up.
No, I think it should move up.
That is not true. I
I'll
am,
think
I
about
am
it.
the biggest Donkey Kong Country hater here, and
I do
think it should
not
go
like
up.
this. I do not trust you guys one fucking bit.
I don't want to give away too much, but I would move it up. Where is it?
Well,
at? Like, I would put, like, 10
don't
spots.
talk about that because maybe we'll have to talk about it at some point. So.
Yeah.
Might even have to talk about
I would
it
move
today.
it up. Those 3, that's the thing. I would move them all.
So
Yeah,
why
those
wouldn't
are
you want it below? Why would you not want it below Path of Radiance? Will.
Yeah, because fucking Path of Radiance is an amazing game in itself.
Path of Radiance, I don't. It's Path of Radiance is a game that I went back to, sort of after I started to sort of know more about Fire Emblem, and I really like it a lot. But I don't. I mean, this is just. It's hard to verbalize, but there's just. I think the style of game that Pokemon is resonates with me more, and that's just a personal preference thing. I'm not gonna like make a big logical argument behind it. But in a thing where it's by hairs, you know, like we're in a space where like none of those games that I'm not putting it below I don't think are bad. It's just I think that last little bit puts it over the top for me. Like I said, there's no great argument there. I just think that red, blue, and yellow. When I played them after Gen 3, right? So they're different, not the same as Moose, but while there is still a ton of frustrations there, I also found there to be plenty of frustrations in Path of Radiance. So, and obviously one of those is I think more by design than the other, with Fire Emblem having more of those intentionally so by making the game harder, but I just really love that core mechanic of catching a pocket monster. You know, I think that just in and of itself is something that I like a ton.
I mean, like, yeah, like I get it. Like that's the main thing, but it's.
All right, we should probably wrap.
That's
it
our
up.
concept. Yeah, that's fine. Like put it below Fire Superstar Saga. I want to just see. It's like,
Yeah, put it below Fire Emblem.
Yeah, put it below Fire Emblem.
Superstar Saga.
All right,
Oh wait,
that's
is
when
it
I
up to
don't
me now?
feel good. Don't
Wait,
feel
so
good.
you choosing for Superstar Saga, Saf? Not Fire Emblem?
like I say, like I'm. God damn it! Like I'm happy with either or. I'm genuinely happy with either or. Because like the gameplay is quite like it's like every time I'm gonna make a criticism of it, it's just gonna be a comparison to other Pokemon games. And then that would be unfair for me to do. Like any sort of criticism or argument I would make, like in terms of like catching Pokemon, even then that's kind of slow to do, and it's not as entertaining as other Pokemon games, and that can't be that valid of an argument in regards to this because of, well, it's not on the list.
Yeah, don't make that argument.
Yeah, no, that's
we're
the
comparing it to Fire Emblem, not the.
That's my problem. Like any argument I make is something similar to that. Like
It's relative to other Pokemon.
yeah, because like I could say like, look, its gameplay is slow, and people would just go, well, we still enjoy it. Like we still enjoy the concept of Pokemon. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a lame answer, obviously, that I gave, but you know, I think I'm gonna flip.
Okay.
I think,
to what?
and here's my reasoning. Right, I do think Path of Radiance. Well, I was gonna say it's the best execution of its sort of line of Fire Emblem games, right? Because I think Awakening and Fates become their own thing, but Three Houses sort of merges them.
Yeah, but
I'll say I'm gonna do it because I think that it's the best execution of its style of Fire Emblem game. While Pokemon, even if the core Pokemon I like more, is I think among the weaker implementations of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at, below Path of Radiance?
Wait, so that argument kind of worked in this weird way?
yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Also, staff settles all the time.
That's fine. Below Fire Emblem Path of Radiance.
Yeah, so 3 spots.
At least
All
it's
that for
better.
3 spots. On those of 150.
Boo.
Sorry, bud.
Boo.
All right. Okay. Well, it is what it is now. We're spinning. We're spinning the wheel.
Spinning the wheel.
Game has been moved. It's official.
There you go.
Hey-o.
Settle.
It's me.
It's your boy.
All right. It's time, guys.
Donkey Kong Country 2. No, just kidding.
I'm kind of expecting that, to be
It's
honest.
fine.
It's time. No, it is. It's time. No, it is. It's Donkey Kong Country 2
Okay,
time.
it's
It
time.
is.
It's time. We're
I,
doing
I,
it.
want,
We're doing
it's,
it.
Alright.
I talk about it all the time. It's time. I'm not prolonging it anymore. Game should be fucking moving up. All right, number 1.
Time to get
No,
heated.
no, no, no. But another one
Okay,
potentially.
let me not take my troll off for a second here. All right.
Okay.
In all realness, Donkey Kong Country 2. I mean, to me, it's one of the most solid 2D platformers I've ever played in my life. And the thing about Donkey Kong Country 2 is I didn't play it as a kid, so there's no nostalgia holding me in for that game. You know, I played it as a teenager. You know, so yeah, I was experiencing games by the time I played it. The game had been out for a while. Probably played it when I was like 18 years old. I'd only played the first one. And I was like, damn, dude, this game is just a master for me at like level design, at just tight controls, going back through levels, whether it's speed running or collecting everything that there is to offer, the secrets, trying to 100% the game was just an absolute blast to me. To me, it was just like, it's one of the best 2D platformers just ever. I mean, it had so much charm. The music was fucking fantastic, obviously visually at the time, and it still holds up. There's so much going for that game. I mean,
Yeah, that visual style is like very unique and like really cool to look at.
Yeah, I mean, it blew people's shit off when it first came out. The first original Donkey Kong Country, people were just shitting their pants. They were like, "Is this next gen?" But it was just a wild time, man. People could not believe what the fuck they were seeing on 16-bit.
And also,
And it added like a lot of depth to like the levels and the environments in general.
it added our Queen Dixie Kong.
Yeah, and I mean, the character.
Yeah.
Who is very fun to play
It's
as.
Donkey Kong Country 2. Donkey Kong, takes a back seat in this game. He's not.
They
even...
hadn't gone off rails yet with the Kong family yet, right?
Donkey Kong.
We hadn't touched
kidnapped.
Lanky or Kitty.
Yeah, and it was. Yeah, they hadn't gone too crazy. Even Donkey Kong Country 3 is a whole other thing. But it was a simple thing. Donkey Kong got kidnapped. Diddy's time to get him back, and along with Dixie, is it his girlfriend? What is it? Who knows? But there is an answer. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't care because Dixie is she's fucking great. She's cool. She's got unique gameplay with her hair whip, with picking stuff up with her hair. It's wild. How is her hair an extension of her body? Who knows? She can use it as a propeller to glide down. Makes for some fun platforming sections. It's great. I love it, and it says a lot. And to me, I think the game is getting pushed down pretty far here. Number 32 on the list. I know that's high in a list of 150 games.
No, but DKC2 deserves to be higher.
I really think it's one of the best video games ever, in my opinion.
Wow.
And especially when you talk about 2D platformers. So
Sure.
For me, where would I put Donkey Kong Country 2? I would definitely move it up, obviously, and I'm looking at number 14. is where
14,
I-
right
Okay,
below last.
that is a
one's
bit
above.
too high for my taste.
Even above Cuphead.
I have a hard ceiling and a hard floor for this one.
What is it, Cuphead?
Yes, it's right above Cuphead. Yeah, it's just like I would put it below Undertale, but above Cuphead.
Oh, I was
Fucking,
gonna
the
put
the
below
fucking
Cuphead.
Undertale ceiling is a
That is
ceiling
the
I want to
exact
smash
spot
into a
I was
million
gonna
pieces.
put it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was gonna put it below Undertale as well.
Undertale and Cuphead was the exact spot.
Stupid.
Well, I was gonna say below Cuphead, so.
I mean, I'm fine
I was-
below Cuphead, but nothing less than that. It's better than Skyward Sword.
It's better than Skyward Sword. I think it's better than Cuphead, to be honest. I think the Cuphead
Cuphead?
platforming levels are not actually.
Oh
that good.
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
I mean, the
I-
boss fights are
Stupid edition.
platforms.
I think Cuphead
The more traditional
is a
platform
more
levels.
tightly designed game. I think that there's this. Cuphead.
I don't know if you directly compare Cuphead to Donkey Kong, like where most of the appeal comes from like the visual, that I'm like very confident that Cuphead is like just does a better job at all of that. It's like literally Donkey Kong only has the platforming to an extent is better than Cuphead.
The Cuphead
But
is just
Cuphead
boss
is
fight.
like
It's
the
just
game.
a boss gauntlet. That's the whole game. And
Yeah,
the
But
it's
platforming
very
sections.
enjoyable.
It is-
We can be real
but
that the
it's a
platforming
wonderful-
sections aren't super great.
No, yeah,
No, they
that's
aren't.
That's why I said Donkey Kong Country has
Yeah,
Cuphead
but
beat
the
in that
bosses
aspect,
are
but
so
everything else.
wonderfully executed.
I mean,
they're
this is
so
this is
wonderfully
gonna sound
executed.
weird, coming for a SNES platformer, but I think that Donkey Kong Country 2 has a lot of really good atmospheric levels, right? Like I think a lot of it has to do with the soundtrack carries a ton of it, right?
Oh, yeah, it does.
But to me, there's Cuphead's clearly sticking to one thing, and it's so dialed in, it's
They
amazing,
fucking
right?
nailed it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that to me, there were moments where I sort of like stopped in Donkey Kong Country, and I was like, man, this is one while they made this on this console, right? In terms of like the stuff that was happening. But like in my brain, I just remember like the level where you're on the skull like minecart one, right? And a bunch of other ones like that. I mean, Sacred Brush Symphony is its whole thing on its own, right?
Mhm.
Like that to me, there's more the variety helps it actually, right? Where Cuphead very much is its one thing, and it does, like I said, incredibly well. But just personally, that variety puts it over.
Before we move forward, I just want to appreciate this time. The one time me and Noah actually seem to agree on something.
I know, it's so fucking rare.
I just want to enshrine this moment,
Take a picture. It'll last longer.
Beautiful moment. It's a very beautiful moment.
It threw me off for a second when
I'm
you
so
when it
proud
first
of you
happened.
guys.
But yeah, I mean, so Brandon clearly wants to get it as high as he can.
I love
Clearly.
the game. I love the game. I just.
Which is fair. I
Nothing
understand,
wrong with
yeah.
loving a game.
But
No shame
yeah,
in it.
I mean, my hard ceiling is definitely Undertale, but I am willing to put it below
That
Cuphead.
fucking
because-
the Undertale ceiling kills me every time. It really does.
Yeah.
It breaks me down on the inside.
I'm sorry.
Cuphead?
Undertale should go up.
It should.
The whole Undertale thing, and I hate the Brandon play Undertale. Like, bitch, I played Undertale and I didn't like it. Doesn't mean that I don't have an opinion on it.
I've done every single. Don't agree. It should be that high. It's a fucking a phenomenal game, but
Yeah.
I mean, it should be a little lower. Not
Well,
by much, but
A phenomenal game that belongs in hell.
no. What?
we should figure out where everyone stands. I'm feeling below Cuphead
Below Undertale.
at the moment.
I don't know about Cuphead, but
I
I'm
definitely
below
think it
Cuphead.
should be above Skyward Sword, but
For sure.
not above Cuphead.
Just above Breath of the Wild and Super Metroid.
Good luck.
I'm right
Gil?
there, Undertale.
Below Cuphead. That's what I initially said.
Yeah.
Mm.
Noah?
I mean, so
I
that's
said below Cuphead, yeah.
Yeah.
well, that's 3, and Saf hasn't played Cuphead,
yep.
so
Wait,
Yeah.
that's 3? I thought we had 4.
it's
No, we have
you,
three.
Fuzzy want it?
you, Moose,
I am
and
below
Noah.
Cuphead.
Saf wants it above
It-
Cuphead. Brandon wants it as high as he can
No,
get.
I
Well,
don't
Saf
even
is
know.
on-
Which
No,
is above
I don't.
Cuphead.
Hang on. I haven't even played Cuphead, so I don't. That doesn't really count for
So
me.
you'll
Like,
defer?
I know
Okay.
I know at least I want it below Undertale.
Okay, all right, then I think that's enough to say we'll put it below Cuphead.
Where do you want it, Will?
I want it above Cuphead, but it's just me and Brandon because Saf can't offer an opinion on Cuphead.
Mm-hmm.
Got you.
So Saf basically is just removing his vote.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
There it is.
Fair enough.
You know what?
I mean, it still went up.
12 points.
Well, we're gonna spin the wheel.
And we're dealing with the top like 30. That's a lot.
That's extremely difficult.
Pretty good, pretty good. You know, it's not number one where it deserves, but it's still pretty good.
You know, it is what it is. All right, so the process, the great journey up north continues.
God damn it.
Jesus Christ.
When is it going to be my turn?
We did it.
It's either next or last, so.
All right. I think it's time. GoldenEye.
Oh.
Oh, you're right.
You're right. It does deserve it. You're right. It should be
I'm
number
rubbing my
one.
hands
This game
together.
is so
It needs to
high.
happen.
Number
Like every time I look at this game, I get upset.
Yeah, me too.
Like-
It's not number one. I get
Why?
upset too that it's not higher.
Why is it so high? I don't understand. Like almost like 40 games below it are better.
Are you fucking kidding me?
This is like a fucking movie remake. Like it's not even,
Well,
it
that's
looks
a-
ugly.
Okay,
it
so-
plays okay. Like,
Yeah, like I feel this falls in the same category to some extent with Pokemon Red and Blue, whereas like the nostalgia for it and the fucking greatness of its time made it look better than it actually is.
absolutely.
Every game looks like shit from that generation, in comparison.
I put
GoldenEye
fucking
didn't
Mario-
look worse than
Super
anything
Mario
else on
6
the N64.
Yeah.
Super Mario 64
But
looks way
also,
better. Ocarina of Time looks way better.
Because it's a different color palette. It's all these bright colors compared to, you know, trying to
That's a
realistic-
mark against
it
it.
looks
I mean,
the
that-
same.
that
It's
is
funny.
For its
worse.
time, the game looked it looked good.
It's
Nah.
funny because like we had the Halo conversation on the most recent podcast, right?
Oh,
And I went back and I downloaded the Master Chief Collection again to play a little bit of Halo after it. And what it sort of asserted to me is, man, it's wild how many things Halo takes from GoldenEye, but also how much it shits all over GoldenEye while doing those things. like it cannot be stated how much a second stick helps. You know, like
Oh,
it's
yeah,
wild.
It's
GoldenEye
crazy.
is
Yeah,
full
the
of brilliant
controls is-
ideas in a game that I play, and I'm like, oh man, I'm trying so hard, you know,
Yeah.
Like, if
to
only.
like it.
You have to
yeah,
use
it
the C
does. The
button.
controls especially do not hold up at all. I don't even know how I played this back in the day.
Well,
Neither
I
do
mean,
I.
it has auto aim. It has auto aim,
It does, and that's yeah.
which, you know, it has to have, because, you know, the N64 doesn't have two control sticks. You have to use the C buttons to strafe. And it's a
Yeah.
thing that you really do get used to when you play it enough.
Sure.
Like, I can understand how somebody could pick it up now and be like, how? How did people play
Yeah,
this, right?
my
But,
brain has forgotten how
you
to
know,
do
and
it.
it really has a curve to it that you have to just get used to, right? Especially nowadays that we're so accustomed to dual analog sticks. And I understand how that could be a knock for it, you know? It makes sense.
Sure.
But also,
Yeah.
it's not as overblown as, like, it's not the game has shit controls. That is not the case at all.
It doesn't have great controls.
Because if the game, no, I would say it has good controls. For what it's working with on an N64 controller, I would say it's very good. Because
Okay.
it deals with what it has to do. And if the game was bad, it wouldn't have, it would have just fell by the wayside. There's no way to say that this game is bad, even closely remotely.
I think it was good for the moment.
Mm.
Well, I think it was decent.
There
for the
weren't
moment.
really any like.
No.
But also, I mean,
there weren't
this
any
game is not
shooters.
telling a new story. This game is not
Well,
that.
it's a
good to-
license-based game. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
retelling
I
of a
know.
movie.
Well, I mean, even then, it's not very good.
I mean, the most appealing thing about this game was the multiplayer in itself.
Yeah,
like that
exactly.
was what everyone
So
played.
there was value to the
GoldenEye 4.
campaign in terms of like
Yeah, because there
the
wasn't
different
any
difficulties
like.
and stuff.
Yeah, there was value to the campaign, playing through
Sure,
it, and,
but I
and all the
mean-
different,
Yeah,
different
but-
objectives, and it added more, even added more to the story in a weird way. You know, it filled in some plot points and had some just extra stuff, which is kind of neat to think about at a time where movie games were just cash grabs.
Mm.
I mean, it wasn't just a cash grab. Sure, I'll grant you that. Yeah, but I think it's a far cry from anything worthwhile.
Yeah.
I
So,
don't think
Els, where
I
do
don't
you
think it does a
wanna-
good job.
Where do you
Where
want
do
to
you want
put
to put
it?
it so we can sort of direct it?
All right, give me a second.
Well, shouldn't Brandon say first where he wants? Oh no, yeah.
No,
No, it's Elsa's
it's
choice.
okay.
Yeah. Alright.
All right. Looking at the list, and goddamn. Well, I would want it below Pandora's Tower, but I know I'm not gonna get it.
Nope.
Where's
Wow.
Pandora's Tower?
Nope.
82.
82.
Whoa, that's a big jump.
Yeah, nope.
That was a big jump.
I would agree with that.
I think Sin and Punishment Star Successor is better.
No.
And so I think that's my ceiling.
fuck.
Yeah, Sin and Punishment Star Successor is better. I'm there with Els.
That's stupid as fuck.
Wait, is this a bit? Are you real?
No. This is-
Okay, wow.
Mario Tennis Aces is better than GoldenEye. I would rather play
Well, that's
that.
not
Like I
good.
had a lot.
No.
I think that's true too.
Damn, all
Wow.
the fucking Mario Tennis Aces.
What?
I forgot it started a revolution
How
in
the
multiplayer
fuck
gaming.
did you guys rank GoldenEye this high in the first
I
place?
didn't!
This was.
I
it's
forgot
like-
that Mario
this was a
Tennis
Brandon
Aces
and Moosey
was being
coalition,
played
which is why I
by,
thought
like,
Moose
an
was
entire
doing a
fucking
bit.
Country. Holy shit! It started a revolution in multiplayer. Damn, Mario Tennis Aces. Wow, good game.
I mean,
No,
here's
it
I
the
don't
thing.
care about
way more
legacy.
satisfying.
I'm
Cannot
very
believe-
flexible on GoldenEye.
I cannot
you know,
believe
you-
that Mario Tennis Aces was
It's one of the best tennis games.
College
Fucking-
campuses
fucking
all over
GoldenEye
the
can't say it's
country.
one of the best shooters.
Kids can't stop playing it. I want to play it right now with 4 players. Oh man.
So do I. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Powerful Toads, baby.
Powerful Toads.
I can't believe it swept the
I
whole
was
country in the
I
world.
was looking right above Star Fox, which is the great debate. But then I look at everything below it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, it's not as good as
Will?
Stardew. It's
Well,
not as
that's
good as Alonzo.
exactly where I was fucking looking at.
It's just like Brandon was able to convince me last time because he makes good points about GoldenEye.
Mhm.
However, I'm looking at a lot of these games and I just would rather play them than GoldenEye. But I do give into consideration. I mean, it is a landmark game.
Mhm.
It is. It absolutely is.
Fuck
It
legacy.
is- I mean, like
issue.
genuinely, it is full of a ton of ideas that were like
if you don't take
7
legacy
years ahead of the
into
curve.
consideration,
You know?
like you can seriously go to hell. Like it
Okay.
really is to me.
I love living in hell. Don't worry about it.
I mean, that's just a divide on how we personally all rank things, which is
Yeah.
what makes the list so
different
hilarious.
priorities when you rank. It's-
I don't know.
I still think I'm fine with above Star Fox because, like I said, there is things about
Wait,
it that
you
I'm
said
like,
above
man.
Star Fox.
That's what he originally
That's what he said, and that's where I was initially looking. But you guys, actually, now
Hard.
looking at all the games below, it's just like,
There's no way
I
I
would-
would
I
put
would-
fucking like as much as I love adventure games. There's no way I'd put like any of these adventure games like visual novel games above GoldenEye.
Damn. You
Oh,
don't
I
like
could
it.
think
now
of
fuck
every
it.
way I could put it.
This is where
below
you lost me,
Pandora's Tower.
Brandon, because I was willing to be there with you, but then you said no visual novels.
Yeah,
And
but there's
Phoenix
a lot of
Wright-
here's the thing about them. You play them once, and they're a great experience, but you have no reason to go back to
Phoenix
them.
Wright Ace
I mean-
Attorney 7 times. I played that game 7
You're
times.
fucked up in the
And
head.
you know what? Below Star Successor. Fuck it.
You haven't even played Star Successor, you fucking moron.
Yes, he has. He has.
Ills, you wanna put it below what was it?
All right.
There's no
Stop the
replay
spike train.
value.
We're gonna
As much
stop
as
the
I
spike
love
train.
adventure games, there's really not a lot of replay value. You can't really keep going back to
Do
it.
you never rewatch movies?
I would
do you-
A movie is like an hour and a half of my time. An adventure game is 15 hours that I don't have time to keep going back
And I had
to.
a great time going through that 15 hours, 7 goddamn times.
I can't, like that's fucking dumb.
See, it's like it feels such like so weird because if this was back in the N64 days, I would be like, yeah, let's play. I don't really want to play GoldenEye right now.
I would love for friends to come over and like bust that game out because it is just so
Okay.
fucking fun.
So, in all seriousness,
And I can't wait for your friends to just sit there and go like, why can't you?
I mean,
Well, you cut out, Seth.
Oh, I was just say I can't wait for your friends to go to you and just say, why can't we play a better game?
No, they would, 'cause it's fun. It's a fun game.
Why can't we turn the camera properly?
here's the thing. I ranking GoldenEye is legitimately very hard because I mean I do think like playing the multiplayer today. Yes, it's a curve, getting used to it again.
It definitely is.
But
Like I said,
once
I
you get
agree
past
with
it,
that.
it is still a genuine fun time in multiplayer, right?
Sure.
Mhm.
I mean, of course, like Will mentions, Halo shits all over it, but there's a reason
Yeah.
Halo's already 30
Already
spots
way
above it,
higher
right?
than it, yeah.
But it made me. I think I gave more of my fond Halo memories to GoldenEye than it deserved, as I think the thing that I was sort of realizing
Sure.
in that moment.
Right.
Wait, why are you conceding on this? Why are you?
I'm not.
No, I mean him.
I mean, I'm not.
He's
I'm
being
not.
a fair guy.
I'm not settled on anything in particular yet. Like I said, I think ranking this game is really hard. But that said, despite the good stuff about it, I mean, there's a bunch of games on this list I would just rather play right now.
I was about to say, this is, remember how I said it? There was a 3-problem coalition, right? This is like a 15-problem
Yeah,
that I would all put
exactly.
above, which I think is too much to deny.
I mean, I would put it below Pandora's Tower. Like that seems like a reasonable place to put this game.
I would put it below.
I would put it above. I would not put it below Wonderful 101.
You would not put it below
Would
Wonderful
not.
101?
I think Wonderful 101 is where I'm like, I stop.
Okay.
I will say my sticking point kind of is Star Fox because I do think it should be above Star Fox because I don't know. I feel like
high.
Star Fox didn't really.
Star Fox is not too high.
I don't like, you know, we talked about how GoldenEye didn't age well. I mean, Star Fox, like, it just kind of came and went. You know, it was just like I don't know. Like, I played it, I had fun. I played it maybe twice, 3 times, and it was just like,
It will
yeah,
make you
that
cry,
was.
though.
Wait, is the measure of a game how many times you replay it now?
No. But I just mean like
The Star Fox is also 2 hours long.
If we're talking about games from the N64 era, like
Is
I
the
don't
length
know.
of a game the measure?
I don't know, but yeah, but that 2
You're
hours.
supposed to look at everything, not just specific things.
Again, I know, which is what.
Like when I look at everything on this
But
game,
here's the thing, Star Fox 64 is a game that, like, I don't know if that 2 hours really stuck out to me. You know, it was like, oh my god, this is like amazing.
That's a game with actual replayability, though. You know, there's multiple routes in that game, right?
You know,
Yeah,
GoldenEye,
yeah.
every time you
100%.
select a new difficulty, they add more objectives.
There's different objectives.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm sure, but I mean, it's the same fucking levels.
And the multiplayer obviously is way better in GoldenEye than it is in Star Fox. I mean,
that's a.
Have you ever heard?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the
Okay, but see, no, I'm looking at the list.
Doesn't Star
It
Fox
should
take
not.
a lot
There's
from the
no
first
world
game?
in which GoldenEye is above Stardew Valley. I'm sorry, there just isn't. It makes
See,
no
I
sense to
definitely
put
agree that
above.
GoldenEye is better than Star Fox, but I don't think GoldenEye is better than Alone, Stardew, Phoenix Wright, Hotel Dust Snatcher, Beautiful Joe, and
Yeah.
Ghost Trick.
I mean, it's 1 versus 15. You know.
Yeah. See, I can't let Star Fox hold me up. Bare minimum, it should be below Alundra. I think I've been playing a little bit of Alundra finally, and you know,
Oh, look at you.
GoldenEye should at least be below Alundra. Yeah.
maybe you could put that type of dedication to the list games.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
So, where do we stand? I say
Yeah,
my
I feel
ceiling
like
is
I
Star
can,
Fox.
I can agree with Alundra, but like to an extent, like I can understand where you guys are coming from, but I feel like Kirby's Epic Yarn above GoldenEye is like that seems pretty asinine. Like it really does. I mean, fuck.
I don't think it should be
Kirby's Epic Yarn, pretty solid game, but like above GoldenEye, that just seems fucking insane to me.
I think you're giving GoldenEye way too much credit.
I don't think so. No, I'm giving it a lot of credit, but I'm also like
I mean, I'm
still-
willing to put it above Epic Yarn. I'm
like
there with you.
I'm
I'm willing to put it above Epic Yarn.
Games I'd rather play.
I'm willing to put it above Epic Yarn.
I think I am too.
Okay, so what do we have now?
So 3 for I guess above Epic Yarn.
Wait,
I
we're
should
at
say,
three.
don't
Yeah.
count me as a hard vote. I'm willing to settle in quite frankly
Okay.
any which way.
All right.
Okay, I'm below Star Successor.
I'm
Who's
at
with me?
above Epic Yarn.
I guess I'll be below Star Success. I mean, I wouldn't put it below. Like, I would be super happy to put
No.
it lower.
Can't make me.
Noah?
It should be Robin Wilson, damn it. I feel like I think above Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Fine.
Whatever. Oh well.
So
So is that it?
Six,
Moose?
Looks like it.
Yeah, I get. Wait, what's the score right now?
It's me, Brandon, Noah, and then Saf Ills, and then you said you're flippable.
Yeah, so whoever's on the winning side. Yeah, 3.
Okay.
Whatever the 3
Piece of
is.
shit.
So number 69 is honestly it's a huge win for GoldenEye. is now GoldenEye 007.
Oh, listen, it got lowered substantially, so I'm happy.
And 64 kids are screaming right now.
all right, time to spin.
Spin the wheel.
Spin. Well, Sapula, Smuzzy.
All right.
Okay, that means Saf can wreak the most potential havoc.
Oh
Disgusting.
Just like he likes to do.
Disgusting. I'm disgusted just thinking about it.
I find it weird that this wheel decides to put the minorities down below.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
He has a point.
Rigged.
All right. So, as much as I would love to spite, I won't.
Okay. Thank you.
Earthbound should go up. Come on.
Fuck off! That's my choice.
Get in.
That was my choice. Son of a bitch.
We're in it.
Alright, so Earthbound. I mean, we've all played Earthbound.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we've all played Earthbound multiple times now, quite frankly.
Yeah.
This is a game that, like, I mean, if we're talking about, it's not above Undertale. I'm gonna say that much already. But it is a game that directly inspired Undertale, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see why. This game is special, especially when you consider it came out on the Super Nintendo, right? Like, I mean, on the surface, it's a pretty simplistic game, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a knockoff Dragon Quest in its battle system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Intentionally so. But it's such a weird, strange world that you end up learning to just fall in love with, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly charming. It's incredibly clever.
Mm-hmm.
It's so clever. Clever is such a good
Earthbound.
word for it. Because sorry, go on.
I mean, I'm gonna sound weird because Earthbound means a lot to me, right? But like Earthbound to me, more than almost any game besides like maybe Wind Waker, is emblematic of like the experience of childhood, right? Like the world is alien and weird and it's scary a lot of the times in Earthbound, right? The final part of that game is a nightmare scenario if you think it through for what Ness and the crew are going through.
Yeah.
But like there is this sort of beautiful wonderment to all of it still. Right, like you're doing these amazing things, and I think I'm gonna bring it up, but like the ending of that game is sort of just a chance to reflect, and I think it's so cool because Shigesato Itoi is a guy that was not in the games industry, and so it's sort of he was a writer by nature, right? And so I think that there's sort of this different approach to presenting that world that I think is still unique and still resonates with a ton of people, right? Like, even though it is this weird, I mean, this game stinks was the marketing campaign, right? I think that the things that stick with me isn't even the weirdness necessarily, it's like the heart that beats at the center of all of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Undertale captures the same thing, which is why it's like the successor.
I agree.
The only thing I have against Earthbound is the battle system is like a little bit too chaotic. Like the second playthrough I tried to go through Earthbound, I struggled a lot for some reason. I could not, because of like either status elements or something like that. Even though I was well grinded and everything, I still could not get past the first boss. And that happened to me after I finally got past them again on the third boss. It was like very strange, like it didn't feel right. So it's like it could have used a little bit more tweaking and balancing in that department.
It's because you didn't pray enough.
Yeah, that's true. This is the second playthrough too. The first playthrough just went fine. So it's like it's pretty inconsistent in that aspect.
That's interesting.
But like even then, I feel like it's chaotic and crazy. But like I think
like the little twist of like like home, if you don't call your mom, you get like homesick, and that actually affects you in battle. Yeah. But even doing the right things, just sometimes you can just get fucked over for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't think that's inherently a flaw, though. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
No, but it's a hindrance.
Sure. I mean, I never felt like that detracted from the experience, just personally. You know.
It did for me. The second playthrough when we actually.
No, that's fair. I don't want to diminish how you felt, but like but like for me personally, like I do think that it's a I think it just adds this element to it. Like it never was frustrating enough for me to get mad at it, but it was just weird enough and wacky enough to like keep things interesting, and it's not what you expect going into a Super Nintendo RPG, which is...
I mean, I get where Noah's coming from on that, because I think that sometimes with games, even though like the ostensible end goal of most games is fun, right? Sometimes you can have things that are weird or even kind of obtuse or even sometimes frustrating to add to the overall experience along the way, right? And I think that homesickness, stuff like that, does put you in the character of Ness. It works well, right? And sometimes like Moonside is intentionally obtuse and frustrating, but Earthbound's battle system, especially before you get the full party, right, which can take a while, or at least someone else. When you're just Ness by yourself, you can get caught off guard very quickly on just getting killed immediately. Right?
Well, it's weird because like the hardest part of the game is the beginning, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is a potential problem. I'll give that 100%.
Yes.
But I think that, I mean, ultimately, it's one of those things where yes, we should get to where we would put it, but like, I acknowledge it, but the things that are strong to me sort of still outweigh it, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, no, I mean, obviously, yes, but it's just something you have to take into consideration. You can't just neglect it just because everything else outweighs it.
Sure.
I would put it back to where it originally was, above Donkey Kong Country 2.
I would put it above Cuphead.
I would put it above Undertale.
You've not played Undertale.
Yes, I have! What is this narrative?
He has.
Seriously?
What is this fucking narrative?
He has. It's just that you guys set his expectations a little too high.
It's fine, okay. All right.
and you were kind of-
Yeah.
But I do have some quarrels with Undertale as well.
My hard ceiling is Undertale.
What'd you say, Sam?
My hard ceiling is Undertale. Like, it can't be higher than Undertale.
Worst ceiling. The worst ceiling there is.
I'm fine with either above or below Cup.
I was gonna say below Cuphead, but I don't know if I should put it below Donkey Kong. Definitely should be above Skyward Sword.
For sure. No doubt about that.
And I personally wouldn't put it above Resident Evil Tales of Symphonia, but that's an argument. I'm not even going to try that.
Honestly, I could put it above Cuphead, though.
Yeah. I mean...
I don't know why you can't put it
See, that's the
above
thing.
Undertale.
Like, the reason you guys, like, everybody are Earthbound, because it was, like, for its time, it was, like, super charming. It was, like, a new thing. It's, like, great, right, as a package. But I feel like Cuphead did the exact same thing. It's like it brought back his art style from the 1920s, and it fucking nailed it on the head. It's just brimming with so much fucking charm that it makes it so amazing.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, I feel like Cuphead did better with the charm game than Earthbound did.
To me, there's I don't know. I mean, this is personal preference the entire way, but I think there, at least to me with Earthbound, there's more depth to sort of like besides the top layer of like these characters are funny, the world is charming. This is like this weird funhouse mirror of America. There's like underlying moments sometimes with these characters along the way that give it like a layer underneath that you can sort of peel back, right? And with Cuphead, I mean, at the risk of sounding rude, like the art style doesn't inform the gameplay much, right? Like, it's a shooter, it's a boss rush, it's a thing, right? But like, it's not like there's anything that's particularly 1920s animation that's like in the gameplay itself, right? And I think that there is just those moments like at the final boss with the praying stuff, right? And a few other things along the way, like with the Franklin badge, with the different things along, different little moments. Earthbound sort of adds that second layer that you can sort of get to on like my second and third playthrough at least.
Well, I mean, I think I mostly agree with what Will said. I'm willing to put it above Cuphead.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want it above Undertale, so I can agree with that.
Brandon this whole time has just been like, I want 20 spots different, but I'll meet you at this one,
How is that 20 spots different?
No, I'm joking about like beforehand with
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna
GoldenEye.
sit there and be like, you gotta be real about it. If everybody else is in one spot, you gotta meet them.
The reality
somewhere.
of the situation.
Yeah.
Seems like above Cuphead.
I mean,
I was
Saf,
below
what-
Cuphead. Saf, what do you say?
Oh, he hasn't played Cuphead.
That was like Cuphead. So
What about Donkey Kong?
if I know Saf, he's putting it above Donkey Kong.
Don't say that. That's bait. You just threw him red meat.
Are you gonna fall for that, Saf? Are you gonna?
Saf?
Below's Undertale.
All right. I think
Okay.
that's it, right?
I assume Will and Muzzy feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in it.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
Let's
All right, there it is.
Spin the wheel.
Let's find out.
Wow.
Spin the wheel.
Who's it gonna be?
Oh, shit! Hey, we're all back.
Woohoo!
Time for round 2.
Please no.
Devil May Cry. Number 2. Put it in hell.
Whoa.
I want
Put
it
it
in
in
hell.
hell?
It's terrible.
Interesting.
Yeah, put it in hell. It's a terrible fucking game.
The
The only reason why I put it where it was is because I settled on the idea that it's worse than Other M. But since Other M is now in hell, I want Devil May Cry to join it.
Honestly, that's a fair thing. I'm happy that you have that memory.
Damn it, man. This is the reason, man. I don't want to talk about Other M because
It's a terrible game, right? Like
no. Listen, I agree that it should be under Other M, but I both think that they're
Well,
Other M should be higher. God damn it, should be in hell.
I think
The worst take I've ever
I
heard
think
in
it's
my life
worse
is
than
Other M
Donkey
shouldn't be
Konga.
I
Well,
haven't
good for
played
you.
DMC2, so feel free to discard my opinion here. But everything I've heard about it, I feel like it's like what hell was made for.
I've never played-
This is all right.
I can't-
This
I-
is my
I-
rationale. This is my rationale. It's a largely functional game. That's it. That's what I think about Other M. That's what I think about this game. Like it doesn't do anything. Like the gameplay itself is not inherently flawed. That's what I
It's not fun. It's like, I mean, when
I
when
think-
you
I think
DMC
some
and
of
you
the,
hang
like-
your hat on it, and it's like I'm like not enjoying pressing the button. That's like a fundamental failure.
Yeah.
What game are you talking about? Devil May Cry or fucking
Devil
Other
May
M?
Cry.
Devil May
I mean,
Cry.
I like the combat more in Other M.
Yeah,
And I think
again, I
both
haven't
of them, I
played
think
it.
Sigurd Star's better than it too. Sigurd Star at least has strong points. Devil May Cry 2 has no strong points. You know?
No, it doesn't. I
Uh,
hate Devil May Cry 2. And it
Yeah,
kind
so put it in hell.
it disgusts me a little bit that I'm trying to defend it, but this is the defense I had for Other M, so it would make sense that I would defend. That's all
Okay.
I'm saying.
I understand that. I still think this is
So
a
no one's
terrible
gonna
game.
try to boost Devil May Cry up, I guess.
No, nobody likes this game.
Oh, then why are we even debating it? Then
I-
just put it
No,
in
I
hell.
was just
debating on where it should
laying
go.
out my point. That's it. I was just laying out my point.
No,
You
that's
guys-
not fair.
All right.
Understandable.
Well, I mean, so,
Below Other M.
all right.
Yep.
There you go.
I never
We did
even
it.
played the game. I have nothing to say.
Short and sweet. Don't play it.
Like it's weird because I don't remember having bad memories of it, but I barely remember it, even though I beat the fucking game. I
Yeah.
just remember it being okay. I don't remember like any of these drastic hate for it, so I'm like a little confused. But I'm not gonna defend it because I don't know.
It was just
Because
shoot the gun
I legit
and
can't
win.
remember any good.
It's
So,
literally
you
just
guys
oh,
probably
Well,
are
no,
onto something.
the
I
entire
think,
game was literally just shoot the gun and you will win.
well,
like,
it
that's
did
what I-
add things. It added like the style system. Like you get to change stances or whatever the fuck it's called, like gunslinger or whatever that shit. You remember that? You remember
The
that?
combo like,
Was that not already in the first game?
No, that
thought
wasn't
that
in the
was-
first game.
I think
I'm
I might
pretty
be
sure that
blending
wasn't
the
in the first
first
game.
with the second one a little bit.
I thought it was in the first game. Am I crazy? Was it not in the first game? Changing your styles from gunslinger to technical?
Somebody check it.
I thought it got added in 3. According to
I'm-
the Devil May Cry wiki, styles first start in Devil May Cry 3.
Oh,
Okay.
so it didn't even have that. Okay.
Hold up. Jesus
Was
Christ,
this
really?
was the second game the one with the fire gloves?
Yeah, you know, it doesn't matter. We re-ranked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, who knows? Well, okay.
Oh,
Well,
shit. It might have been 3. Well, there you go.
Does that mean
Well,
hell,
now there really
hell
is no
has
reason to defend it.
a
Okay.
new tenant? There's a new tenant in hell, I guess.
Yeah.
all right.
New tenants in hell.
Well, there it is.
Done.
The devil lives in hell, so it checks out.
Hey yo.
That is it. That is Ranker series. We did it. No, I was
We did
norm. We bucked the trend. Almost always the last game is the one that goes the longest, but this time, sorry, is that middle. That
I feel like also this was the least contentious one we've had yet.
the second
Yeah.
one wasn't that contentious, but
Yeah, the
well.
second one wasn't, but that one's been lost to time.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
But you know, to quickly review the games that were moved, we have Fire Emblem Awakening, which is now at number. It's shifted because of the other things getting moved. Where is Fire Emblem? It is now 34. There we go. Let's go in order of who added. So I added Fire Emblem Awakening. It's now at 34.
Mhm.
Next up was
No one Pokemon.
No.
Moved to 28.
now 30 because of things getting moved. That was the Great
Whoa.
Fury. Remember?
Oh right. Oh shit.
Then after that, we had Brandon, who moved Donkey Kong to 23. Then we had Ills, who moved GoldenEye just a country mile. Where is it?
68.
68.
68.
Hey, it moved up, baby.
Heyo. Then we had.
No, it didn't. What? How?
Yeah, it did. Devil May Cry moved down, moved it up.
But don't
Wait,
worry
no.
about it.
No, I
Oh,
think
already.
I messed up. I think Kirby was going to say 69 because it's above Kirby.
Okay, well, my goal now is to only add games below it, so it constantly is moving up.
Mhm.
Well, we need
That's
to
not
get
how
this
that
down
works.
worry.
And then
It's never gonna
Moose
move
moved-
down ever again.
We'll see.
Wow. Moose moved Earthbound to 21, and finally Saft dunked Devil May Cry all the way down to the pits of hell at number 142.
Man, Donkey Kong let him in.
Yeah,
Played
he opened the gates.
He
and
played the
shut
right
the back
bongo
before anyone could
combination.
escape.
I think out of all of us, Brandon is simultaneously the happiest and the
It's true.
How would I be the happiest?
Donkey Kong moved
You
up.
got your boy.
Well, it didn't move
Donkey
up
Kong.
as where I wanted it, but I'll take it.
I moved up like 10 spots.
But that is obvious. That is the Ranker series. Now, because of our new schedule, where we are beholden, much like the independent contractors, to Vincent Kennedy McMahon, we're going to be doing the Ranker Rumble, the rank. I don't know which is the official term. We're going
Is
with.
it the Royal Ranking or the Ranker Rumble? I
Ranking
like
Rumble.
Royal Ranking.
Ranker Rumble.
Royal
Ranking.
ranking.
What do we look?
I like Ranker Rumble.
All right, let's rank this. Right
The
now.
Royal Ranking Rumble is going to be
Alright.
in January, right? So not a long wait.
No.
So who knows what'll happen, right? Until then, maybe we'll add, I don't know, Bloodborne, and it'll get to number 1, and then Brandon
go.
and Moose will have a connection.
Finally.
But
Oh.
until then,
Oh, I wouldn't have a
we will
connection.
be stuck with what we have. But of course, we want to thank you all for watching. For participating isn't really the right word, but if you want to find us on our actual, main podcast every Monday on the Jumbo Supercast and every other Thursday on the Jumbo Supercast Game Club, subscribe to us on this YouTube channel if you're watching the archive, or by going to your podcast service of choice and going along the way. Brandon, because you've had just the wildest time, I would say, out of everyone on this Ranker series, do you want to have any final thoughts?
Sure, why not? My turn now. You done with
Go
all
for
the
it.
plugs?
Go for it.
All right, cool. Well, listen to the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, where we just recorded an episode for JJ. The missing JJ Macfield and the Island of Memories. What a title that is! And if you saw it on the list, you already kind of spoiled it, but whatever. This is probably gonna go up after that. Who knows? I don't fucking care.
It is.
But next game we're playing, Jackie Chan Stunt Masters, Jackie Chan Adventure. There's some weird Jackie
No,
Chan
it's
game.
Jackie Chan Stunt Master.
Okay, I got it right. Jackie Chan Stunt Master. So yeah, look forward to that. We're gonna be playing that, and we're gonna just look forward to the game club in general because it's a fun time. Maybe subscribe to our Patreon, become a patron, and you can choose the next game club game. Who knows? It's gonna be. We're gonna do some fun stuff with that. And one last thing. besides my normal, go out there, play some video games, and be kind. But also, it's time. It's Sunday when we're recording this, so go Pats!
Boo.
Boo. I don't even know who they are,
Wow.
but boo.
Oh.